Christian Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Ancient Extravagance, Christian Ways of Becoming More Human by Snider. Narrated by Verner. Prelude. We are all frittering away our lives, at least according to someone. I must not be the only one constantly bombarded with people, advertisements, and street preachers telling me not to waste my life. Every culture, faith, and person has an idea about a wasted life because they have an idea of the contents of a good life. There is no wasted life without an ideal life. Implicit in every story is a worldview or understanding of the world telling you exactly what is most valuable. Life is meant to be lived toward a particular end. When it's not, it's wasted. The market, for instance, describes the good life through consumerism and the accumulation of goods, a capitalistic theory of goodness founded on success, acquisition, and consumption. Unsettled with the present, we work to be somewhere else. We know we will be happier if we make more money or buy a nicer car and a bigger house. We exist to consume. This is why our country is one of the most wasteful. Fast fashion, the maximization of our time, the commoditization of cheap food. A former professor of mine mentioned that most Americans envision the world as a warehouse. We'll buy another, is our motto. We end up wasting a lot of stuff to avoid wasting our lives. An alternative theory of the good life is described by the accumulation of experiences, with travel and places to see before we die. The goal is to retire early, so you can make the most of life with bucket lists and inordinate amounts of adventures. Think of the people who will take a last-minute flight to a resort in Cancun for the weekend. Is there anything more annoying? Confession, it's only annoying because I have kids, and because I don't have money. Since that's the case, it's a waste of time, resources, and greenhouse gases. Thanks for destroying our planet. Even still, another theory of a good life might argue that contentment comes from within, by developing inner tranquility and acceptance. Happiness will not arise from making the world conform to your desires. The more you desire and attach, the likelier you are to suffer. The objective of the good life is to focus on what you can control, without letting external circumstances define your life. Learn to live within your boundaries. Which theory of the good life do you buy into? The stories that shape our identity and purpose aren't usually obvious. This is to say, they aren't always read from a book or proclaimed from a podium. Instead, they are subtly flashed across a screen before your feet meet the carpet in the morning. These images invite our hearts to envy as we compare ourselves to another's highlight reel. It's the smile or frown of our parents after we've made a life-changing decision. We are taught about the good life from products that can be attained cheaply and immediately, with the click of a button, divorcing their production from people and places, all the while training us to desire consumption. Think of the enacted rituals or behaviors you must engage in to belong to a particular group. These practices and encounters shape our hearts and imaginations, forming our desires toward a specific vision of the good life. The question we must ask ourselves is this: is there a better story about the good life? Many have heard the oft-told story about thieves who broke into a jewelry store and didn't steal anything. They simply rearranged the price tags. The next morning, the expensive jewelry was sold as junk, a Rolex for a Timex, and the junk was sold as expensive jewelry. In the morning, they watched with delight as people walked out with Rolex watches for the price of Timex pieces. Value is constantly being rearranged as we are taught what to desire and pursue. If you control a person's desires, then you control the person. And we're constantly being subjected to the formation of our desires. The narratives, the advertisements, the media, the politics that form our hearts and shape our imaginations and assumptions about the good life. But we rarely take enough time to reflect on the stories that have worked their way into our subconscious.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?